Okay, so we're gonna continue with probability tables, but I'm gonna do the branches one because this one might be on the test. I'm not sure, but let's just do it just in case. So number 9, it says assume that 70% of teenagers who go to take the written driver's license test have studied for the test. Of those who study for the test, 95% pass. Of those who do not study for the test, 60% pass. Okay, so knowing what they gave us first, so it's telling us that 70% of teenagers who go to take the written driver's license test studied, right? So I created the branches, right? So I'm going to do studied and didn't study. Okay. So it told us that 70% who studied. Oh, wait, no, 70% studied. Okay. So it gave us that one, but we don't. Okay, so it gave us 0.7, but it didn't give us this one. So these two have to add up to 1. So if it only gives you that the probability that or only 70% studied, then you have to do 1 minus 0.7, and then you get 0.3. So now it says of those who studied for the test, 95% passed. So now you're going to write it here. So you know that if they studied and passed, it was 0.95. Again, it doesn't give you this number, so you have to do 1 minus 0.95, and you get 0.05 because these two have to add up to 1. Okay, next it tells you of those who do not study for the test, 60% pass. So they didn't study and they passed, it was 0.6. It was 60%. And it doesn't give you this number again, so you have to do 1 minus 0.6, which is 0.4. Okay, so now you have that. And so you don't have to do this, but I think you guys should because it makes it easier when you're answering the questions. So basically what I did was I did all of them. So some of them it just might ask you what's the probability that someone studied and didn't pass, and then you just have to do this one. But I think it's better to do all of them just in case. So for the first one, what you're going to do is the probability that they studied and passed. So I wrote it here, probability that they studied and passed, and then you have to multiply these two numbers. And so you do that and you get 0.665. And again, you're going to do the probability that they studied and didn't pass. They're going to do 0.7 times 0.5, and you get that answer. And you're going to do the same thing here. So probability that they didn't study and passed, you're going to multiply these two numbers, and you're going to get 0.3 times 0.6 is 0.18. And same thing here. You multiply these two numbers, and you get 0.12. So A was asking, what's the probability that someone studies and doesn't pass? So we already did that one. So probability that they studied and that they didn't pass, we did that one here, is 0.035. So that's your answer. Okay, now the next one is B, and this one's kind of, this one's harder to do. So it says, what is the probability that a teenager who passes the written driver's license test did not study for the test? Okay, so this is going to be one of those given ones. It's not going to tell you that it's given, but you're going to have to figure that out. So it says, what is the probability that a teenager who passes a written driver's test did not study for the test? So your given is like what it gives you. It tells you something. So we know that our given is going to be that they passed. It tells us that. So that's going to be our given. Okay, so now that we know what our given is, you're going to write it like this. It's asking for the probability that they didn't study. This line means given that they passed. So this one's going to be a little trickier. There's a certain way that you have to write it. So it's the probability that they didn't study and passed over the probability that they passed. So the way that I remember it is I have to do them together with an and then on the right side, I just have to do that twice. So I have to put that right here, and I have to put that right here. So now that you have this, you're going to have to plug in the numbers, right? So you're going to do probability that they didn't study and pass. Remember, this one's and because it's like a frowny face, like Miss Power said. This is why like I do all of them, so then I can just look back at it, because now it's asking for the probability that they didn't study and that they passed. So that's going to be 0.18. So that's going to be at the top. And then it's asking for the probability that they passed. So this one is saying like out of everyone, so it's not just like one row, it's actually going to be two. So it doesn't matter if they studied or didn't study. What they only want to know is if they passed. So you're going to have to do this one, this top row, and you're going to have to do this one right here because it's passed. They both passed, right? So you're going to go 0.665 and you're going to go 0.18 and you're going to add them. And then you're going to solve it, and then your answer is going to be 0.021. So the question was asking you, what is the probability that a teenager who passes the written driver's test did not study for the test? So the probability is 0.021. And then that's for the trees, branches one. Okay, so now we're going to do a different one that could show up. So this one is going to be this one. Do you guys remember this one? So for this one, we're going to do number 11. So it says a survey of families revealed that 58% of all families eat turkey at holiday meals. 44% eat ham, and 16% both have turkey and ham to eat at holiday meals. So for this one, what I did is I did this chart or the table, and so I put in everything that they gave me. So this one's that they eat turkey and ham, it's 16%. Only eat turkey is, well, if they, like, out of everyone, if they eat turkey, it's 58%. This one's, if out of everyone, if they eat ham, it's 44%, and this one's both. So now you guys are going to have to, so this is what they give us, right? Now you have to fill in the other numbers by like adding and subtracting them. Okay, so I added up all the numbers, and then the total should be equal to 1. Okay, now let's look at the questions. So number A says, what is the probability that a family selected at random had neither turkey nor ham at their holiday meal? So for this one, I said the probability that they had no turkey and no ham. So you're going to go here, you're going to find this, and it's just going to be this answer. You don't have to put it over anything. It's just this one. So it's going to be 0.14. Okay, now we are going to go to C. We're going to skip B because it's kind of the same thing. So C says, what is the probability that a randomly selected family having turkey had ham at their holiday meal? So this one's going to be a little different. This one's going to be one of the given ones. So remember, given is what they give you already, that they already know. So this one is going to be they're having turkey. That's what they tell us. So this is going to be your given. And then this is going to be what is probability that they had ham, right? So we're going to write that like this. Probability that they had ham given that they had turkey. So this is going to be one of those ones where you have to do the and thing. So you're going to do, you're basically doing this on top, ham and turkey, and then you're going to do the right thing on the bottom too. So for this one, you're doing ham and turkey. So you're going to do ham, yes, they had ham, yes, they had turkey, 0.16. And then underneath, you're going to do just turkey, or if they had turkey. So that's going to be this one, 0.58. So you're going to put that over, and then you're going to have that answer. Okay, now we're going to skip down to E. This one says, are having turkey and having ham independent events? Explain. So this is another one of the independent ones. So this one, you're always going to have to do a given. It doesn't matter if it's probability of having turkey given that they had ham. Usually you do the one that you already did though, because usually it asks you a given before this. So we did this one already. So let's do that one. So we already had the answer for that one. Probability that they had ham given that they had turkey. We solved that. It's 0.276. Now you're going to, since you have to try to figure out if it can happen on its own, I usually always do